In today's video, I'm going to be ranking every gadget in the final season 8 based off how easy or hard it is to learn how to play. I'm a Diamond 1 Light player with over 1,000 in-game hours, so let's get started. Today, we're doing a gadget tier list based off how easy it is and how hard it is to play and learn these gadgets. So the first gadget is Flash. I would say Flash is B tier and it takes a while to learn because first of all, you have to have good timing with it and you have to know where to throw it. You also have to figure out the distance with it too. For example, when you throw it, let's say you right click it, like depending from where you throw it, it should pop without them seeing it first. So if you right click it in front of them and they see it drop down, then they're gonna know to look away. If you right click it behind a wall, then at the last second it goes in front of the wall, then it's more unexpected, if that makes sense. So you need to figure out the distance with it and you need to figure out the pop timing as well. Also, this flash concept is used in a lot of games, so it's not really that hard to understand. And also you have to calm your flashes to your team, and honestly it's not that hard to learn. It's just a few things that you need to figure out, and that's why it goes B. All right, next one is frag. So frag is a common concept in a lot of games, but you just have to be able to time it properly. Like players have to be in a situation where if you throw the frag, it's going to get value. Like for example, if you use it too early or too late in a fight, it's not going to get any value. And also, if they see you throw it, it's useless. If you do throw it while in a fight and they notice you, they're going to move out the way. But if they aren't aware that you threw it, then they're going to get hit by it. So you have to be able to throw it without them noticing. Oh yeah, and also you need to be able to know how to pre-nade an area. So if, let's say a team is about to push you or a player is about to peek your corner, then if you right click a nade, you can prevent them from peeking. So you need to be able to predict pre-peeks and chasing. So that's another thing you need to be able to learn. And honestly, other than that, it just requires basic knowledge since it's literally just a nade. All right, next one is gas nade, and I'm gonna put this brainless because you just throw it where enemies are playing. It's basically just a molly. So you just throw it on a cash out and it doesn't require any aim or any precise timing. It's just used to deny cash outs, right? And you just deny areas with it too. It's pretty simple concept and it's not hard to play at all. And really the only value you need to get from it is just some chip damage or denying an area, and it's pretty easy to do that. So yeah, I mean, it goes brainless. Also, if you get a pick, you can right click it on a body to stop revives. So I guess preventing revives is another thing you need to learn how to do or just remember to do. But other than that, it's pretty brainless. All right, next one is goo nade. I'm gonna also put this in brainless because all you have to do is you throw it to escape, and you throw it at doorways or choke points or just entryways in general where people could push you. That's all you have to do. You just throw it down. It doesn't require any aim or not really much game sense. But however, one advanced tech with this is just being able to isolate players. So let's say you're in a 1v2. If you goo one of the players off, you're able to isolate the player. So that's like the only thing that could be a little more higher level. But I mean, other than that, it's kind of just brainless. I would say it goes at the bottom. All right, next one is pyronade. I'm gonna say pyronade is probably also brainless because all you have to do is the same thing as goo. Just throw it on choke points, throw it on the cash out like a gas nade, and you throw it on players. It's another nade. I think all of these nades are pretty low skill and don't require much game sense to use. Of course, pyro, you can use it to burn goo, so that's one thing you need to remember. But I mean, other than that, all you need to do is be able to predict re-peeks and predict when they're about to peek you or just stop them from chasing you. So I mean, pretty simple stuff to learn and it's not hard to understand. So yeah, that also goes in brainless. All right, next one is smoke. I would say smoke is another brainless because all you have to do once again is like goo. You just throw it to escape, throw it to steal a cash out, you know, just simple stuff. And it can be used to grief teams. Like if you throw it at teams, then they won't be able to see. So that could be one advanced way to use it. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty brainless. You know, you just kind of throw it down and they can't see in that area. Again, it's a concept used in a lot of games. So I think everyone understands how smoke works, you know. But however, one thing you need to remember on smokes is you need to time it properly. You need to know the timing of the smoke. For example, if you time your smokes properly, you can deny that area for longer. So like if I time my smokes one by one, then I'll be able to block out that area for longer instead of dumping all three at once. Okay, next one is expo mine. I would just say it's a C tier because yeah, it's just a mine, but you just need to know where to place it. You need to place it in unexpected areas and places that people are not going to expect. But I mean, other than that, it's just a mine and it's not that hard to use. You know, just place it where people will go, and that's as much as you can do with the mine. If you're playing heavy with Expo Mine, then you can play around your mine to winch players onto your mine to do extra damage. But I mean, in terms of learning the gadget, it's very simple. It's just that you need to know specifically for this game where to place it. And the last one is Proxy. I'm gonna say Proxy is C tier because you need to place it in spots where people can't destroy it. So like, let's say you place it and you place it on the top of a doorway, then people won't be able to destroy it as easily. So that is something you need to learn. But if you can do that, then that's basically all there is to the Proxy sensor. So it's pretty simple to use. Okay, so that's going to be all the universal gadgets. Now I'm going to move on to the light gadgets. All right, now we're on the light gadgets. So the first gadget is Breach Charge. Now I'm going to say Breach Charge is C tier because you need to learn placement with it. Like, for example, where to place it on a cash out, where to place it on certain entryways to get the most value from it, and also where to pre-place it in some situations. Like, let's say you pre-place it on a doorway because you know a team is going to push that doorway, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, pre-placing it just requires some game sense. Also, another thing you need to know is just where to, like, how to hide it properly and put it in a spot where people won't see as quickly. It's pretty easy to learn because it doesn't require any like aim or timing. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty simple to use, and it's kind of like you place it down and it creates a hole. So that's why I think it goes C. Okay, next one is Gateway. Now I think Gateway is S. Here's the thing. Gateway, it requires a lot of game sense to get value from it. This gadget can make or break fights, I'm telling you. You need to know the perfect time to post gate for off angles or flanks. You need to know good spots for pre-gates or escape gates. Like, for example, if you're low or someone's about to push you, you need to be able to post gate at the right time. And also, let's say you have a cash out set up and you're kiting the cash out, you know, people are chasing you and you're trying to stall the cash out time. If someone gets on that cash out, you need to have your pre-gate in a spot where you can stop them from stealing and still be safe, you know. So it just takes a lot of game sense. You need to memorize pretty much every cash out and know the best spot to put it in. Also, you need to put it in spots where it can't get glitched too. It has a very high skill ceiling, which means maximizing its value will give you a huge advantage. So it's a very important utility you need to know and you need to master it. And also, you need to be able to plan plays quickly for your team. So let's say you're pushing a cash out, you need to be able to tell your team, okay, I'm gonna gate here and this is gonna happen, and heavy, you do this. So you need to be able to do that, and that requires just a lot of knowledge about the gateway. And yeah, of course, it's super hard to master and it takes hundreds of hours. For me, it took multiple seasons for me to fully understand every use of the gateway. And yeah, next one is Glitchnade. Now I'm going A tier with this. It's because you need to be a master at pre-glitching, because a slight mistiming can cost you the entire fight. For example, if you glitch a dome shield just a second too late, then that can cause your heavy to take a lot of damage or your mediums to get picked off, and that could lose you the fight. If you glitch too early, then they're just going to wait your glitch effect out, and then they're going to be able to use all their util after you use your glitches. But that's why you need to be able to use your glitch at a perfect time, and that's why it requires so much game sense and so much prediction. So to be able to predict util and when teams are going to use util, you need to have game sense, or you need to have a really good understanding of every fight and every situation to be able to use glitch at its maximum potential. You just need to be able to glitch util before it's placed down, pretty much. You need to be able to predict it. It's pretty hard to learn, but not as hard as Gateway though. Next one is the Vortex, and I'm going to put this in B. Now, the reason I put it in B is because you need to learn the placement to pull the cash out off of a steal. Like, for example, there's a certain placement that you have to do on the Vortex for it to actually pull the cash out away and into a different location, so that this person that's stealing it won't be able to keep stealing it. So placement matters a lot on the Vortex. Another thing, you need to be able to place it in a spot where it's not easily visible, so that way it doesn't get destroyed. Another thing, you need to memorize how long a Vortex is, so when the first one ends, you can throw your second one on. If you can memorize when the first one is about to end, then that will allow you to position yourself in a place where you can throw the second Vortex on. So that requires a little bit of timing or just knowledge about the Vortex. And yeah, also you just need to be able to know when people are pushing you so you can activate it on a choke point. Pretty simple stuff. Takes some time to learn, but it's pretty easy to get the hang of. All right, next one is H Infuser. You need to have your gun ready for when your teammate is about to challenge. Like, for example, if your heavy is about to go into a fight, you need to have your H Infuser ready to heal him while he takes damage. So that's really important. Also, you have to hit your your shots with your heal mid-fight. With Heal Beam, it automatically tracks your teammate and it automatically heals them. With H Infuser, you actually have to aim at your team and try to hit all your heal points onto your teammate. So it requires aim too. So that's another reason why it's hard to use. It also requires you to have perfect positioning. So yeah, you need to be able to coordinate your healing as well as off angling. So you need to be able to off angle while still staying near your team and being at the perfect time to help your team when they need it. For example, one way this works is before your team enters the fight, you can try to off angle, but when they actually do engage, you need to be able to be close enough to them to be able to heal them as well as have an off angle. And you need to understand light very well to use this gadget. And usually this gadget is hard to learn because it relies so much on positioning and aiming at the same time. Like you'll be in a fight and you have to be positioned properly as a light while aiming at your teammate and being aware of what the enemy is doing too. So that's why it's super hard to learn. But yeah, it's going S. Next one is the sonar. Okay, sonar, I'm gonna say C. Okay, so use sonar to get information while pushing, and you just throw it in spots where it can scan but it can't be destroyed. Also, you need to be able to use your sonars at times where the information matters. Like for example, if you're using it way before a fight starts, then that information is useless. But if you're using it during a fight, then you're able to tell like, oh, the medium's here and he's gonna defib right now, so let me place this utility here to cancel that. Or you just need to have information during the fight so that if you see a heavy, then you can pre-aim or glitch at that angle. That's just another example. But yeah, you need to be able to give your team information at the right time. But other than that, it's really easy to use. I mean, it's just another grenade. You just throw it and it scans, and it doesn't require any crazy aim or game sense. I mean, you just throw it to get information, and you just have to make sure you throw it at the right time. Pretty straightforward, but yeah, it's going C. Next one is Nullifier. I'm gonna put this at A tier because one, it requires aim. You have to be able to hit your Nullifier. It has to be used at the right time to actually hit a player and not get blocked by util. So let's say a heavy is trying to trade you and he dome shields or he uses some util. You have to be able to play around that utility and still get the Nullifier off and hit him. And if you use it at the wrong time, you'll end up helping the enemy instead of using it to your advantage. Let's say you nullify a light at the start of a fight. That's not very good because sure, the light won't be able to shoot his gun, but the thing is he gets to stay alive and you won't take any damage from the heavy because the heavy is trying to pick off the light first because that's the easiest player to kill at the start of a fight. So if you nullify the light, then that just keeps the light alive and allows them to position properly during the fight. So you need to be able to use your nullifier correctly, otherwise you're going to help them instead of use it to your advantage. And yeah, it just takes a while to learn how to use this effectively. So that's why it goes A. All right, next one is Thermal Bore. I'm going to say C tier with Thermal Bore because you need to be able to be in a good position to drop a cash out. Since you don't have a C4 where you can remotely activate it, you have to have line of sight of the cash out to be able to drop it down. So positioning matters a lot on Thermal Bore, and also it doesn't require precise aim, but it does require aim in general. So that's another thing to think about. Also, you just have game sense to know where and what areas to deny space in, like certain covers that teams are playing. You need to know where and what spots that will make it harder for that team to play. So that just requires a little bit of experience with the game to know where to Thermal Bore. But I mean, other than that, it's not hard to learn and it takes a little bit of timing and aim. All right, next one is Tracking Dart. I'm also gonna go C with this. This one mainly relies on aim, and you need to be able to follow up an enemy that you are tracking. Let's say you track someone, you need to be able to get value off of that. And this is really important. You have to get value from it before the fight starts. Because if you use it during the fight, then you should be using your gun instead of using the Tracking Dart. You need to have the positioning before the fight to actually get tracking and get recon and get information before the fight starts. So positioning and game sense is really important on this. But yeah, it's just positioning to get off angles, to get shots with your Tracking Dart, which will give you value and help you in the fight. But I mean, other than that, it's mainly just a aim gadget. Nothing too crazy, no crazy timing that you have to learn. But yeah, next one is Vanish Bomb. Now, Vanish Bomb is going C tier. You need to be able to have a little bit of movement to get value from a Vanish Bomb. Because what does Vanish Bomb do? It just makes you go invis. It doesn't protect you. It doesn't do damage or anything. It makes you go invis. You need to have a little bit of movement skill to be able to use that effectively to escape. So stuff like invis bomb dashing, you know, you need to be able to learn that. I mean, that's not pretty hard to learn, so that's why it's going C. But just movement in general, you need to have a good grasp of the movement in this game to be able to use Vanish Bomb effectively. So that's why it's going C. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty easy to learn because because it's an escape gadget. So I think C is a good spot for this. Anyways, that's going to be the entire light, easy to hard learning gadgets tier list right here. Now I'm going to move on to medium. All right, now we're on the medium gadgets, and the first medium gadget is the APS turret, and the APS turret is going B tier because you need to know when to place it to block certain utility at certain parts of the fight. So for example, if you're about to fight a team, you need to be able to have it up and ready to maybe block an RPG or Lockle or Dome Shield or Glitchinate or anything. You need to have the APS turret up to block any sort of utility. So that's really important. You need to have the game sense to know when to place it. If it's placed at the wrong time, then it will get destroyed quickly. So you need to know when to place it at the right time to get the most value from it and not have it wasted quickly. It requires a good amount of coordination and game sense to be able to get value. You know, just have to be able to coordinate when your heavy is about to enter a fight and, you know, get his Dome Shield down. So that way you could place your APS in that Dome Shield. But I mean, other than that, it's an APS turret and it doesn't require too much crazy game sense. I mean, just requires a lot of coordination. So I would say B is a fair rating for this. Next one is drill. Now I'm going to say drill is B tier because you need to place it in spots that will catch the enemy off guard. Same thing goes with flashbang. You need to throw it at a time when everyone is focused on something else. So same thing with drill. You just coordinate it when your team is pushing, and it just requires a little bit of coordination and a little bit of knowledge to know what the best spot is to place it during a fight. All right, next one is data reshaper. I'm going to say this is A tier because it needs to be able to predict utility, which requires a lot of game sense. So for example, if you're playing against a heavy and you know he has Lockbolt, you need to be able to predict and you need to be able to have that game sense to be like, oh, he's about to Lockbolt at this moment, so I'm going to have my data reshaper out now. So it requires some game sense to be able to do that. So that's really important on it. And you need to know when to fight and when to have your reshaper ready. You need to be able to have the game sense to know when a team is about to use a certain utility so that you can use your reshaper to cancel that utility out. So you need to know when to have your gun out and when to have your reshaper out to cancel a utility. So that's why it's going A. All right, next one is defib. I'm going to say defib is also A. It's one of the most valuable gadgets in a fight. It's really easy to use, but you need to use it at the right times. You need to know where a safe enough spot is for a res. So let's say your teammate is down. You need to be able to know where the players are to be able to decide if that res is safe. So let's say you're playing heal beam and you res your heavy. You need to know the timing so that when he's up, you can heal beam him and he can take over the fight. So that's another thing, just defib res timing. And you need to be able to decide between resing, shooting your gun, or running. You only have one defib and you need to decide what point of the fight or which body can I res to get the most value or win the fight. So it's a pretty big decision to make, and that's why I'm putting it A. Sure, it's easy to learn and easy to use, but it's such a big factor in the fight that can decide the fight. So next one is gas mine. I'm placing gas mine in C tier because you need to know gas timing so you know when to place your second mine or place another one. So for example, you get 2 gas mines. Place one gas mine on the cash out, and when that gas mine goes off, you need to know how long the gas lasts so that when the gas ends, you know where to position yourself to be able to place another gas on the cash out. So you need to know the gas timing on the gas mine. Just something to remember, if you're going up against a team that you know has a fire gadget, then you need to know to not rely on your gas mines, you know. So just that requires a lot of like awareness about other teams. But I mean, other than that, it's just a mine and it's pretty simple to use. It's really just a mine that you use to stall the cash out with. It's just a C tier. All right, next one is glitch trap. Glitch trap is going B tier. So you need to know a good placement for the glitch trap. Now, what I mean by that is you need to place it in a spot where nobody's able to destroy it. Same with the proxy mine. You need to place it in a spot where nobody can see it easily and destroy it quickly. 1, you have to be able to hide it properly and put it in difficult spots to destroy. 2, you have to put it in a spot where it allows you to take the advantage in the fight. So for example, if you place it on a staircase and they get their utility zap over like a few seconds, that won't really matter. But if you place it behind the pillar of in front of the doorway on your cash out, then that is a better spot to place it in because it's in a spot where, you know, you can capitalize off of. But yeah, it takes a decent amount of game sense spots, because you need to memorize good spots to place it in, and you need to always switch up where you place it, because a lot of times people get used to it. So if they know you're the team with the glitch trap, you need to put some variation in your placements with the glitch trap. But then other than that, it's a solid B tier. Next one is jump pad, and I'm gonna say B tier because here's the thing. Many of you might just think it's just a pad, right? Just a pad to jump up and take height. Well, the thing is with pad, there's a lot of tech for moving the cash out that you need to memorize. So for example, like the DMAT cash out tech, or the winch cash out tech, and other like manipulation tech you could use with a jump pad. You need to know how to do that quickly and efficiently while setting up or to cash out, because when you're setting up, you only have a few seconds. So you need to know this tech and how to do it quickly before the team pushes. Also, you need to know the pad trajectory. So basically what I mean by that is, let's say there's a jump pad on a rooftop. You need to know how far that goes when you take that pad. So that takes a little bit of movement sense and just like experience with the game in general to know where you're going to end up when you take that pad. Yeah, just it requires movement sense, memorization, and timing in some situations to be used correctly. All right, then last one is zipline. I'm placing zipline in C tier because really all it is just a point and click and is mainly used in rotations. And the only thing that you might need to learn with it is zip hopping, which requires some movement skill to use effectively in fights. But I mean, other than that, it's mostly brainless because it's just a rotation utility and it can be used in fights sometimes. But yeah, that's gonna be all the medium gadgets, and now we're gonna move on to the heavy gadgets. So now we're on the heavy gadgets. Now the first gadget is going to be the gravity cube. Now with the gravity cube, you need to place it in a way where the bottom can't get destroyed. For example, if you're on a cash out and you're trying to stall the cash out, if you place it behind a wall or under the floor of the cash out, or just in a spot where nobody can see the cube, then that will be a good spot to place it. So you just need to know how to place it and where to place it. Block off choke points, that's pretty simple. Just place it on the right or left of a doorway. Just don't place it in the center. Just pretty simple stuff you have to understand about the anti-grav. You need to know the lock bolt combo as well. If you anti-grav someone and you lock bolt them, it sticks them in the air. So that can be helpful in fights as well. But I mean, yeah, it just requires a little bit of game sense to know when to counter enemies that are pushing you or stall the cash out. All right, next one is the barricade. Now I'm placing barricade in A tier as well because you need to be able to place it quickly, which takes a lot of practice because it's hard to place in some situations. Like if you're on like a staircase, or if you're in a area that has very weird terrain, sometimes the barricade isn't able to place because the barricade is overlapping on an object, and then it won't let you place it. Also, it needs to have clean movement with it as well. So if you're pushing a team and let's say you get knocked down or something, a quick barricade climb can get you back in the fight. So movement is another thing you need to know, especially if you play minigun, especially if you play melee. If you play melee sledge or something, I mean, dude, barricades are used so much in that, and you need to be able to just know the ins and outs of barricades. It's not a hard concept to understand, but I mean, just the extra tech with the barricades is what makes it pretty hard to understand. All right, next one is the C4. Now I'm gonna place it B tier. Now here's the thing, I did put breach charge in C tier, but the thing is C4 has a lot of extra other stuff that you need to know, which makes it a little bit harder to learn. Also, its value in a fight is a lot more. I'm placing it higher because of that. So first of all, you need to know the trajectory of it. You need to be able to get used to throwing it. Also, you need to know the C4 trap. So let's say someone's pushing you, you need to be able to throw your C4 behind you and quickly RPG. So that's another thing that you need to learn. And also, it's just a way to drop the cash out. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a C4, but it gets a lot of minimum value in fights anyway. So yeah, next one is dome shield. Dome shield, I'm placing A. Now the reason I'm placing dome shield A is, sure, it's just a shield that blocks damage, but using this at the right time is very important because the whole fight mainly relies on how much value you get from your dome. I mean, your dome shield provides cover for your light, for your medium to heal you, for your, just basically everything. If your dome shield gets glitched or pre-glitched by the other light, you lost the fight. You need to be able to time your dome shield and use it at the point of a fight where you can get the most time and the most value from your dome shield. That's really important. Dome shield buys your teammates a few seconds to get their value. Dome shield, very important. That's why it's getting such a high rating, is because it can make or break a fight, So it's so super important to get good value from your dome shield. The value ceiling on it is super high. Same with C4, the value ceiling is pretty high on that, but the dome shield is much higher because in every fight, dome shield is used. Next one is the heal ball. Now I'm placing the heal ball in C tier because all you need to do is remember to pick it up constantly. I mean, it's just a heal ball and it just stays there and heals your team. It's basically just an automatic heal beam. So all you need to do, remember to pick it up and just play around it. It's just a heal ball. That's all it is. And yeah, next one is the lock bolt. I'm placing the lock bolt in A tier because you need to be able to shoot it before the fight starts. You need to be able to use it at a time to prevent the push instead of using it during the push, you know? So for example, like let's say a team is about to fight you. If you lock bolt one of the players before the fight, that will isolate them. You know, that team won't be fully coordinated. So lock bolt is a way to disrupt the other team's coordination. You know, you need to have that game sense to predict when a team is about to push you. Also, you need to shoot your lock bolt in spots to keep the line of sight, you know? So for example, if you lock bolt a light, they're gonna just turn the corner and hide behind a wall or hide behind a box. You just need to be able to shoot it and be able to have them in your full view, so that way you're able to secure that kill. And yeah, it's not hard to use lock bolt. Again, it's just like an RPG, but you know, you just need to be able to use it at the right time to get the most value from it. So that's why I'm gonna say it's A. All right, next one is the pyromine. The pyromine is I would say it's C tier because sure, I mean, it's just a mine. Again, place it in choke points where enemies won't expect it. I think that's pretty obvious. So pyromine is exclusive to heavy, and if you're playing winch and you're playing pyromine, sometimes you need to be able to play around your pyromine to do extra damage to a player that you winch. So for example, you can get a free pick by winching someone across the pyromine to do extra damage to them. So being able to play around your pyromines is very important if you're playing winch. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's just a mine. So that's always going C tier. Last one is the RPG. I'm gonna say the RPG is B tier because here's the thing. It needs to be used at the window of a fight where not all the utility is down. So like for example, if the heavy gets his dome shield down, then your RPG is just gonna get blocked by the dome shield. So you need to be able to use it during that window when the heavy's about to get his dome shield down, or when the medium is peeking that one angle. You know, you need to be able to RPG someone and get damage on someone with that RPG. Like let's say you're padding up on a team, you need to be able to RPG before they get their utility down and before they realize that you're pushing them. So that's really important. And also I'm putting it B because it requires some aim and prediction to use it. Like you have to lead your shot a little bit, like, oh, he's running this way, so I'm gonna shoot at this corner so that he gets hit by it while he's running that way, you know? So just a little bit of leading your shots you need to do with the RPG. But I mean, it's not a precise timing or anything, but requires you to capitalize on a moment before the fight starts or as they're pushing it. A little bit of prediction, a little bit of timing, but I mean, it's still just a B. But yeah, that's gonna be the entire tier list, the entire easiest to hardest tier list gadgets for heavy, and that's gonna sum up the entire tier list. So if you want me to make one for the weapons as well, just let me know in the comments. Before you click off this video, I can see how many people subscribe to each specific video that I post. If you subscribe, then it will show me that you guys want to see more of this. If you want to help me make these videos or you just want to chat with the community, then I put the Discord link in the comments. All right, perfect.